Well, good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful summer day, and we're just excited to spend some time with you. Without our coffees this morning, sorry, but we will take care of that later. Looking back, we talked about a topic that I think affects all of us, at least at some point or other. When do you find yourself worrying, or in what situations do you find yourself worrying?
At 3 in the morning.
Usually
Honestly.
Yeah.
Usually when people preach on the do not worry passages, and I realize, oh crap, Jesus said not to worry, and I'm worrying, and now I'm more worrying about that, I'm worrying, and then how am I disappointing him?
That perpetual cycle. So what happens at 3 in the morning?
I try and solve the world's problems, or all the things that all the things that I feel like are unfinished, or even like projecting. Okay, well, if this, then this, then obviously that. And I think parenting is a major part of that, and worrying about things that are not yet there, and I have not placed inside my God box.
I like it. Yeah. I agree. I think I tend to go over things again and again in my mind, and then if I actually get up and write it down, it's like, that's it? 5 things? Felt like 1,000 in my head, right? Because you're going over and over and over. I don't know.
And then when you do write them down, you're like, that's so trivial. That's so trivial.
That too.
Like,
that too. So I love
why am I worrying about that?
So I love the idea of writing down your worries and wait until Wednesday. I'm gonna deal with that on Wednesday. I mean, it's easier said than done.
The idea of being able to procrastinate on your worries is
procrastination
a beautiful idea.
is a wonderful thing for the right things. Worry is one of them.
I was, as I was listening to the sermon, I was thinking that maybe what we need, someone needs to get on, instead of what would be the opposite of a microscope? And I think we just need to create like a megascope. So you can see things from further.
A metascope.
Yeah.
Meta. Yeah.
So you can see your issue from further away and see
see everything.
That I think would help with a lot of
totally.
our anxieties.
So
I don't know, some brilliant inventor get on it, and that'll be your next big money maker, I'm sure.
So sorry, when you combining that with what you said about getting in your God box.
Yeah.
I realized that
I loved it. I loved it.
I liked that the idea that we can get in the God box. But then I realized the metaphor breaks down because God's still in a box, and God's bigger than a box. So I should have broken open the box and said He's bigger than all this, right? But anyways,
and then 3 people would have, their anxiety level would have risen because you just destroyed a good box.
Yeah, exactly. So,
or what does that say about? Fighting with God.
True. So the metaphors break down, but
it would have been awesome because then you would have been like, Superman. And
no, then it would be about me. So it's not that wasn't the intent either.
But next week you're preaching on Samson. Right? Use it then.
Anyways, idea.
But okay, pulling it back.
Yeah.
I bet you that analogy sticks with people. Not the fact that you pointed to the box, the fact that you got in it.
Right. That we can put ourselves in God. Yeah, totally. And we were just talking on the way here. Why don't you explain that a little bit? Like this isn't about just going and not worrying. Like go and not worry. Like it's not like a command to not worry, although it's sort of. But in order to not worry, it's counterintuitive.
Yeah,
Talk to us about that.
Like Jesus says, "Do not worry." Like that's my question mark. Is he actually saying that? But I think sometimes when we feel like we're in that sense of like I have to work on not worrying, and I have to just let things go, and it becomes this thing we have to do, and it almost then becomes like this task list and all that. But you were talking about, Jesus uses the idea of, look at these sparrows, look at the grass here. Is this grass worried about what's going to happen? No, because it's grass. But here's the bigger thing. We are so much more than that. We are gods, first and foremost. And so it feels like
we are God, apostrophe S.
Yes,
God.
God,
God. I am
apostrophe S.
the Lord.
I belong to Him. So, like, it almost seems like before we even try and think about action or do these 7 steps and do all that, we actually need to actually stop and turn that backwards and say, who am I? Am I a child of God? Then all of a sudden, it becomes about identity. And once we understand, like, my identity is in Christ, I am bought and paid for and created by the King of the universe. I know whose I am, therefore I can begin to say, that's where my sense of lack of worry comes from, because if I belong to him, I know all things are in his hand, just like the sparrow would understand, this is God, he provides for my needs. I can actually understand that, and I can rest in that. So then it becomes this not getting rid of worries, not saying don't worry, but actually rather saying, I know I belong to Christ. Therefore, from a point of restfulness and identity in who I am, then I can move forward and trust in God with those worries about life and parenting and family and the world and all those things.
Yeah, as soon as like I think of it like when I was leading youth on an adventure trip, when I tried to do it and be the guy that knew where we're going, knew when we're going to stop, when I was the guide, I had all these worries. But then when I realized I should hire a guide, then I could just be back with the youth and just talk with them and whatever, and leave that to him. It's kind of like when we know that we're not in control of everything, we leave it to him, all of a sudden we can just live it out, you know? I agree with you. That's great.
Yes, that works for you. And I think we'd be amiss if we didn't acknowledge that for a whole lot of people, there's a lot less anxiety when they know all the details, right? And I do think that's a little bit personality driven, which is, I think, part of what you're kind of saying but not saying is that you recognize that for you, there was a whole lot less anxiety when you could just leave it to someone else.
Yeah.
And I do think for the most part, we all have to find those things where this is the thing I need to leave to someone else. Because we will drive ourselves a little crazy if we try and control everything. However, for some people, like depending on the situation, there's some where, you know what, we're going to go here and then we're going to do here. And that then actually allows them to be in the moment. So I would offer that for others, right, it's a matter of knowing, okay, where are you in that? Like we should each kind of go, okay, is this a thing? Do I have to hold this? Do I have to be in charge of this? Can I let this go? And some things will be easier than others on. But
so yeah, it definitely is a challenge, and like all the whole sermon so far, Sermon on the Mount has been about a new identity. It's a new identity in Jesus, and what does that mean? And what does it mean to be His person, His kingdom of heaven person? And it's challenging because it is giving up what we desire. It's giving up what we find natural, but to become this beautiful person that we are meant to be, who, like the birds, they just are beautiful, being themselves, right? We are meant to be great because we're meant to image God, right? To look to Him. So lots to think about. Keep talking about it and thinking about it and practicing some of the practices that we talked about that help shift your focus from worrying to giving it over. And let us know. Send us an email. I'd love to hear how things are going. As we move forward, we have some really good stuff coming up. I mean, it's summertime. It's time to get out and in the boats and in the beaches and in the hiking and whatever you do, or just out on your porch and look outside and mow your lawn. But you want to tell us about something coming up over June, and then
Yeah, so we're here at the Gallatley Nut Farm, where we are going to be gathering in this area or over by the shelter, and every Sunday in June we're inviting everybody to just come and to enjoy. And we're here on a nice, super hot, enjoyable day, which means be prepared for weather, rain, shine, or crazy hot. Be prepared for that. But we're calling everybody together to just come, have lunch, enjoy, jump in the water if you'd like, bring some bocce ball if you would like, bring a lawn chair, all the things that you might need. But we're just gathering everybody together for every Sunday in June. And so it's just a fun time to be together.
It is. So, yeah, it's great. It's very casual. Bring your own lunch and hang out. Maybe something to share if you want. And yeah, we have a good time. You have a few things that
Just
are
a
happening
couple.
for young people.
Yeah,
That's
just a couple.
Exciting.
So there's no youth on Monday because on Tuesday night we're all heading to Emmanuel for the next Westside United, with a number of youth groups getting together for a big event there. And Tuesday 6:45 is roughly when everything gets started. And yeah, we've done this will be our third of the year. We try and do 3 a year. This is the last for the year, and it's going to be it's a good night together. Yep. And then also coming up a little bit later on the 13th, we have our next Friday event for kids grades 3 to 6. That's Friday night at the church, and there's no sign up for that. It's just kind of drop in, show up. But if you're an adult and want to get involved in helping, reach out, let me know. We'd love to get a few more volunteers there for that. Our youth do a lot of the heavy lifting, which is really fun. They do a lot of the planning and the organizing and the running, and it's just to have some extra some adult help in certain areas is always good. And then we're in the middle of backpack season, where we collect backpacks, prepare to stuff them with supplies, and so we need a few backpacks for teenagers. And if you'd like to donate a backpack, that would be wonderful. Bring it to the church. Excuse me. Bring your allergy meds on Sunday when you come on down to the park.
Pollen is flying.
It is high pollen season. Anyways, it is backpack season, and if you want to donate a backpack for a teenager, we'd love to get a few more of those. You can just bring it to the church on a Sunday morning or whenever you happen to stop by, and we will make sure it gets stuffed and delivered to the food bank for distribution to families in our community who need that help.
And they're always so appreciative of we give about 50 backpacks a season, and
about that.
And they really appreciate that. So 50 kids that we can help, and so yeah, bring backpacks. Yeah, that's about all we have for you this morning. Hope you have a great time. Enjoy the sun, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Sunday.